Hi guys, it's Arthur aka Starbucks CMDR and welcome back to the Star Wars Battlefront news and rumours roundup. If you're here last week and you've come back for this one, you're glutton for punishment, but thank you. And if you're new this week, also thank you. Just briefly, it's been very quiet really in terms of news or confirmed news for Star Wars Battlefront. So what's happened since last week? Well, the Oscars have happened. Nothing to do with Star Wars really, or they were stormtroopers in the opening ceremony. So now the Oscars is done, all that's coming up really is E3. So I'm sure we'll see some more stuff from DICE at E3. Hardline Battlefield, Hardline actually launches in March. And I think once that's done, the real ramp up will begin for Star Wars Battlefront. That's not to say there's been no news whatsoever. It's not new news. It was out a few weeks ago, but I missed it last week. There was some artwork released by DICE and EA referenced the Battle of Endor, at least the ground battle. Having looked at this picture in depth, it does actually tell us quite a bit. There is 2 rebels, 2 stormtroopers, 2 ASTs, some explosions and some trees because it's Endor. But that's not all it really tells us. If you look really closely, you'll see some stuff we can break down. There's a male rebel and there's a female rebel. So obviously, hopefully that means there'll be different genders you can pick in class. The male rebel appears to be holding a scoped rifle and the female rebel just a standard blaster. So does this mean that there'll be variants in blasters? So will it just be a blaster with attachments, or will it be like a sniper rifle, a heavy blaster? We know that obviously from Battlefield there's 4 main classes. Will this carry over into Star Wars? And will there be such a breadth of weaponry for all the different classes? Now I wonder that question really, because all the stuff we know about Star Wars from the past, all the guides, all that sort of stuff, that's all been thrown in the bin by Disney. They basically like, that's great, it's cool that you've done all that, but it's not like a canon. So basically all the stuff they do now is canon. So it does kind of give DICE free reign, but it also takes away a lot of stuff that's already been created. So I don't know whether we'll see hundreds of guns. I'd like to, personally, but I'm not sure. So whether that be class specific or not. We also do look at the stormtroopers. Again, you have one that's carrying a standard blaster, just sort of strolling into battle. The second one is priming on close inspection a thermal detonator. So it does confirm that there will be thrown weaponry, certainly from the concept at least, thrown weaponry in the game, and thermal detonators being one of those. Again, on closer inspection, you can see an exploding speeder bike. It's quite distant and it's obscured by the explosion. So we don't know, again, from the preview demo at E3, we do know that the speed bikes will feature, but it's just cool to see it in the artwork. We see a downed AST as well as a standard one. And interesting to note, this AST is actually just on the ground, looks like by weapons fire, not by a trap that we see in the films. So it has been brought down by some sort of heavy weaponry. So it's not done by a trap, so it's not done by a log thing that rolls down the hills that the Ewoks have implausibly built, just in case some giant metallic monster comes roaming through. So that does indicate that the rebels will have access to rocket launchers or some sort of C4, or maybe it's a thermal detonator, I don't know. So that's interesting. You look at the distance, you can actually see drawn in the Ewok village. It's quite high up. The trees on Endor stretch for hundreds and hundreds of feet. We do know it's filmed in a redwood forest, I believe it was, and those trees go on forever. So will this map be feature a lot of verticality? I hope so. DICE have actually turned and said that the maps that they're creating for Star Wars Battlefront will be particularly tailored to the game type. Some will be huge, some will be smaller, depending on what game type we're playing. So I'm assuming by that we look at Star Wars, so the Battle of Hoth. I'm imagining a huge battlefield for this one. Lots of vehicles, lots of sort of open ground, whereas Endor will also be quite claustrophobic. That said, there are speeder bikes. They do chuck out quite a bit of speed, hence the name. So I'd be surprised to see how they work on a small map. So that's kind of what we've seen. We know it's the Frostbite 3 engine. Obviously, Frostbite's quite a famous engine. It's been used, I believe, since Battlefield Bad Company. I'm probably wrong, but I think it's Battlefield Bad Company. Obviously, it features a lot of stuff in there. So you've got Levolution moments, which are made famous by Battlefield 4. So hopefully we'll see some of that stuff in Star Wars Battlefront. So will we see trees coming down? Will the log tracks feature as part of the Levolution? Maybe the shield getting blown up is an objective. Who knows? We know Frostbite is quite versatile. We do know that it can handle destruction. So obviously trees don't tend to do very well against blasters. So hopefully we'll see some real kinetic action going on that. So that's what we know for fact from that one piece of images. So quite a lot. So that's probably why a lot of companies don't release artwork. Second bit of confirmed news we have is a Swedish company called Uprise. Now, they're a company that make Battle Log. If you remember the previous episode, that was the app I was trying so badly to remember the name of. So Battlefield Battle Log allows you to track your stats on Battlefield, create emblems, share emblems, create clans, track your progress, open boxes, blah, 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 blah. It's a real cool app. When you go on their website, it actually says it's confirmed for Battlefield Hardline, which is kind of obvious, but it also says for Star Wars Battlefront. So there will be a Battle Log app for Star Wars Battlefront. That, for me, is pretty cool because, yes, it lets us track stats. It does mean I'm hoping there'll be some sort of emblem customization. Not sure how that worked with the Imperials because they just have the one thing. This is by unit. But I'm excited if it has the Commander app from Battlefield, because that'd be really cool. If that transfers into Star Wars Battlefront, that'd be amazing. But what does that mean? Who would be in command of the Imperials and what would they have access to? I know on Battlefield there's stuff like Tomahawk missiles that the commander can fire on locations and do airdrops and vehicle drops. Will we see something very similar on Battlefield? Who knows? But Battlelog is confirmed, so that's fact. That's what we know so far. That's definitely confirmed. In terms of rumours, well, it's the same old, really. We're going back to the weaponry and stuff we looked at before. We've seen, like, from making Star Wars, that they'd seen a whole plethora of weapons and hands, blasters and explosives. I don't know, and nobody knows what weapons are going to be in this. The same way we don't know about vehicles, but I'm going to focus primarily on weapons. If you remember the original Battlefronts, it was quite sparse in terms of weaponry, what you had to play with. It was pretty much linked to the character you played as. So if you were a sniper, you had a standard pistol and you had a sniper rifle. That was it. You couldn't really customize that sniper rifle. You can do much with it. It was what it was. In terms of ammunition and stuff, that was very basic. Will we see now, based on this one bit of concept art and what Making Stars have said, will we see an option for you to customize your weaponry? Will we have different skins for our weapons like we see in Battlefield and in Call of Duty and other popular titles? I'd be amazed if we don't. That sort of customization options are really popular with players and gamers, and it is always used as a sort of a way to prove how well you can play in a game or how far you've gone, or if there's special sort of objectives you had to complete. I know in Battlefield the bow was the latest thing everyone was going on about. You had to do a certain amount of things on a certain amount of maps to grab a bow. I'm fairly confident that DICE will put this in. They're well renowned for putting Easter eggs in games, so I'd be very surprised if we don't see this in Star Wars Battlefront. So again, weaponry, it's rumoured. Obviously, if there are special characters, which I'm sure there will be, are we going to see lightsabers? It's a first-person shooter, and they've said it's first-person, so will we see for hero characters, will we see a flick out to third-person? Because I don't know how a lightsaber is going to operate in first-person perspective, if you can in fact be a Jedi. So that's pretty much where we are with that. I've got some notes here, so I've got some questions and stuff from Twitter. If you do want to get involved in Twitter, please do. It's early doors for this show, so the more interaction we have with you guys, the better. And it also gives me stuff to fill out when there's nothing to say. So basically, we have our first, now I'm going to get the name wrong here, it's Origami. No, it's not Origami, it's Origami Magoo. And he says, hope it's not just a Battlefield skin and that space battles make a return. Now, space battles are something I'll cover in a moment, but I don't think it is going to be a Battlefield skin. They've spent a lot of time on this. Basically, when Battlefield 4 launched, and I know it wasn't a successful launch in terms of how the game played, there was a lot of issues with it, but that team basically stopped work and then went straight onto Star Wars Battlefront. So I'm assuming it's not going to be a skin. There's an awful lot of play here in terms of that's different to Battlefield in terms of like the mechanics of the vehicles and all that sort of stuff. I don't think it's going to be a reskin. I really don't think it is. And in terms of space battles, yes, I really want to see space battles. I know in a previous episode, Making Star Wars had clearly stated that on a screen grab they'd seen ground to space battles will occur, and it's going to be flying from the surface to the stars, and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm all up for that. But what I also want to see is I want to see air superiority missions. We have them in Battlefield. I want to see this in Battlefront, where there's no troops, X-Wings, TIE fighters, go at it, some capital ships. That's what I want to see. No landing, no running around, just pure space flight. So I want to see ground to space, yes, but I also want to see just space. So I don't think it's going to be a skin, and I do think the space battle is going to make a return. I think EA would be crazy to ignore that. Second option we have here is, option 7. Second Twitter query I have here is from Joey Dale. Much easier name. Can we have names like that? Because it makes it really hard for me to say. I'm bad enough as it is without long names. So, Joey, thank you for having a normal name. Why should non-Star Wars fans be excited? Good question. Hard for me to answer because I am clearly a Star Wars fan. I think they should be excited because DICE have a proven track record with this sort of game. I think in terms of what DICE can do is well documented. I know Battlefield 4 probably wasn't the best showcase for that, but Battlefield 4 now, in its current state, I think is pretty exceptional. It's got Levolution moments, it's got a lot of vehicles, it's got a lot of things in play at any one time. It works very well to Battlelog third-party app, and it all blends in very, very nicely. I think why you should be excited as a gamer is because having them taken away from a real-world setting allows the devs at DICE to actually do whatever they want to do. You know, they're not bound necessarily by laws of physics as such. They've got a whole universe to play with. They can create planets with low gravity if they want to. They can do. They can invent new vehicles. Bearing in mind, you have to remember that Disney is signing this off as canon. So anything they put in this is actually canon. So jealousy does not actually quite cover where I sit at with the people from DICE. But I think we should be excited because we're giving a really creative developer and a very successful developer the tools to build an entire universe, and one which, as a fan, I love, but as a non-fan, you can enjoy. So that would be my answer to that. That's pretty much it. That's all we've got. I'm hoping E3 shows us some news. There might be some news at GDC. I've heard whisperings that there might be some showing of Star Wars Battlefront. As I said, at the end of March, Hardline will launch, and I'm sure, 100% sure, we'll start seeing the slow drib drab that will turn into a torrent of information referencing Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, Bob has just fallen out. Bob has had enough. So I'm guessing if Bob is topping himself, it's time for me to end the show. So thanks for joining in. Remember that the Twitter will be at the bottom there. Please tweet me with hashtag XG Battlefront, and we'll get your questions on the show. I've been Arthur. Thank you very much, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.
3, 2, 1, live.
Hi guys, it's Arthur, aka Starbucks CMDR, and welcome back to another show. I'll start again. Sorry, 3. Oh, fuck's sake! Fucking bollocks!
What?
Because I've got to see my notes. I can't see my fucking notes, can I? Fuck.